Hey guys, welcome to another flipped video. Today we were going to be talking about rate of change and how it relates to slope. We've been talking about rate of change for a couple of weeks now, and you know that rate of change is change in y over change in x. And you get that from a table. Rate of change, you need to know, is a 6th grade term. And now we are going to start calling it slope. So let's go ahead and get started. The graph shows, the bird starts here and travels to here, okay? And it says the graph shows his distance d from his birdhouse over time. So when we were talking about rate of change, we went from a graph to a table and we had to choose 2 points. Make sure those points are where the grid intersects. Okay? So the first point I chose is 0, 0. Second point I chose is 9, 450. So to find the rate of change, you do change in y over change in x. So that's 450 divided by 9, or 50. So what does this rate of change mean? It means he travels 50 yards per second. And this is, we're talking about rate of rate of change, but we're also talking about unit rate. So how could we find the rate of change of a graph without a table? And that's what we're learning today. Where can we find change in y over change in x? Well, the difference or the distance between the y, so this y and this y is your change in y, and your distance between this x and this x is your change in x. So to find rate of change on a graph, all we do is count. There's got to be a catch. So rate of change is change in y over change in x, or rise over run. That means you count whether or not you're going up or down, and run would be your distance between x points. So rate of change and slope are exactly the same thing. Not quite. Slope refers to the ratio of vertical change, which is the rise, to the horizontal change, which is the run, on a graph. Slope is a measure of steepness and is not labeled with units. Rate of change is typically used in application problems and often takes on the units depicted in the problem. Although they do have the same value, they are not the same thing. This is important. Rate of change and slope are not the same thing. They have the same value. But what if we use different points? Let's see. So we're going to use this point and this point. So what is your rise? 50, 100, 150, 200 over run. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 200 divided by 4 is 50. Was this slope the same thing it was before? Yes. So no matter what 2 points you pick on a graph of the line, your rate of change will be the same. You need to know that. So here's your first example on your paper. Make sure you are looking at the same example I'm looking at. It says determine the slope of the line that passes through the point 0, 1 and 1, 4 by plotting the points, graphing the line, and then finding the slope. We know that slope is what? Rise over run. So let's plot our points first. So 0, 1. Does that mean I'm going over 1 or up 1? Because I'm starting on 0. I need to go up 1 and put a point. Then I have 1, 4. So I run to 1 and go up to 4. And here is your line. So we need our rise. How far did we rise? 1, 2, 3. over 1. So your slope equals 3. So the line blank from left to right. If we're going from this direction to this direction, is it increasing or decreasing? Increasing. Therefore, the slope of the line is increasing. And you know that because your slope is positive, so you know it's increasing. What is another point that would also fall on the same line? All you have to do that is start at one of the points and go rise your 3 and over 1. So your point would be right there. So what point is that? 2, 7. Because you rose 3 and you ran 1. Make sure you have that example done. Let's go to another example. 3, -3. So you run to 3 and you go down to 3. And 7, -5. You are drawing this on your notebook or your files that I gave you. 7, -5. So draw your line. What is your rise? Remember, rise over run. And if you rise down, if you're going down, that's going to be a negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4 divided by 4, your m equals -1. And what this means, the line decreases because it's going down from left to right. Decreases from left to right. Therefore, the slope of the line is decreasing or is negative. And you know this because your slope is negative. Another point, you could do this one or this one. So down 1 over 1 would be 4, -4. Determine the slope of the line that passes through the point -1, 3. Sorry, guys. -1, 3. And then +1, 3. Do you have a rise? Is there a rise? 0. And do you have a run? 2. So anything that has a 0 on top, fraction form, your slope is 0. When 0 is the numerator of a fraction, the value is 0. This means that the slope of any horizontal line is 0. So what is another point that would also fall on the same line? How about 2, 3? This one right here. Because it's horizontal, any point on this line would have the same slope. Last graph example with notes involved. Determine the slope of the line when it has 2 up 5 and 2 -5. Connect those points. So, do you have a rise? Your rise is 10, and you have 0 as a run. So, your slope is what we call undefined. So, we can talk about these notes down here. When 0 is the denominator of a fraction, the value is undefined, and that comes from dividing with 0. You've learned that in 4th grade. This means that the slope of any vertical line is undefined. And it wants to know another point So this point looks good to me. So 2, negative 3. So now we can practice. Find the slope of the line. Choose any 2 points. I'm going to choose these 2. Rise, 1, 2, 3. Overrun, 1, 2. So your slope is 1 and 1/2. Find the slope. Do you have a rise? Your rise is 0. And your run, I'm going to choose these 2 points, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, when you have 0 in the numerator, your slope is 0. Number 15, I'm going to choose these 2 points. Find the slope. What is your rise? Well, I don't care which point you start with. It does not matter which point you start with. Rise, 1, 2, 3. So that's negative 3 because I went down. And your run, which is 1, 2, 3, positive 3. So your slope is negative 1. Find the slope of the line. I'm going to choose these 2 points. What is your rise? 1, 2, positive because you're going up. And your run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So your slope is 1/2. Find the slope. Well, I'm going to choose these 2 points. What's your rise? 1, 2, 3. What's your run? There is no run. So because 0 is in the denominator, it is undefined. Find the slope. Before we even start, look at your line. Is it a negative or is it a positive? Negative. So you know your answer over here needs to be negative. So I'm going to choose 2 points. I'm going to choose this point, and I'm going to choose this point. Notice that came together with a grid. I don't care which point we use, so rise. 1, 2, 3, negative 3 because I went down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 because I went positive 4 because I went to the right. So my answer is negative 3/4. And it's negative, so you know you're right. Find the slope. Well, it's going up from left to right, so we know it's going to be positive. I'm going to choose this point right here and this point right here. So what's your rise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And your run is 1, 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So your slope is 4. In the comment section below, you need to make sure you tell me something you learned in this video that you did not already know. That way I know that you have watched the video. If you have any questions, make sure you put questions in there as well. Make sure this is glued into your ISN before you come into class tomorrow. Have a great evening, everyone.